Why here?
I come up here to clear my head. Tell me what you want to know.
Okay, why are you here?
My universe is a lot different from yours. I got into some shady shit, and when that started biting me in the ass, I had to go into hiding.
What shady shit?
2 years ago.
Yo, if somehow scientists proclaim they see the apocalypse approaching, I would buy a box of tissues, Oculus, and lots of lotion and just lock myself indoors. I'd build a bunker out of blankets, a fallout shelter out of sofa cushions, cook a bunch of pancakes while I thunk about my grandkids. I'd probably have to forage lunch or have a brand of storage porridge and a can of orange chunks until I reached the shortage. Then if I hungered for a banquet, I'd make cocktails, mostly Molotov, and waltz on over to a Walmart with my mortar-like martini bombs and wallet off so I could have the whole place to myself. I'd stop and start to crop apart the shopping carts and fashion pitchforks for the
Welcome back to The Real Dan the Man, a show that would like to take a second to talk to you about the apocalypse. You see, there are a lot of ways the human race could potentially end. The polar ice caps could melt and flood the entire planet, the sun could explode, North Korea, just as a whole. But one of the ones I see a lot is robots gaining sentience and taking out the entire human race. Now, I understand why people think that'll happen, considering we have movie after movie after movie after whatever the fuck this is.
Have continued their demonstration in front of the Albany District Courthouse in what has now been dubbed the Million Machine March.
Man, people make some twisted shit. Now, I'm not gonna say that the robot apocalypse is ever actually going to happen, even though if it did, some of you people would probably fucking deserve it. What I will say is that if sentient AI ever becomes a thing, it really doesn't have to be the end of the world. But Dane, if the robots become sentient, they're going to enslave all of humanity. I have seen several movies made by Arnold Schwarzenegger and I've fucking played to try to become a human.
Shut the fuck up. No one cares about your robot fan fiction. Know your fucking place, trash.
Robots are gonna see humans as like this inferior species that needs to be eradicated because they can't be trusted with their planet and they're not gonna hold any value to our lives because they don't live the way we do. Okay. Here's why you're wrong. I would not consider an AI fully sentient and self-aware unless it had the mental and emotional capacity of a person. That comes with empathy. The point of a sentient AI would be that it can now feel things. It's not just gonna go on a genocidal rampage to destroy all humans. That's a fake idea invented by Hollywood to sell tickets to sci-fi movies. Okay, but like after a few hundred years, they're gonna see how many humans die, and then they're gonna say, ha, they die and we don't. We're clearly superior. They live like insects. They should be crushed. Are you fucking joking? The one thing that gets me through every day of my life is knowing that one day it's all gonna be over. I'm glad we're all gonna die. If anything, they're gonna be jealous that we have a way out and they don't. Like, think about it. People are usually tired of life by the time they're 30. Could you imagine doing that 100 times over? Which means they're probably gonna start wiping their memory or just flat out deactivating after getting tired of their existences. But their existential crises will be their problem. We humans deal with enough of those as is. But just think about how much good a species with the brains of robots but the souls of people could do for humanity.
All right, Dan, stop. I got a lot to say about this. Sit down, shut up. Also, I got to do an outfit change. I'm very passionate about this subject because if robots became sentient and they understood and had the emotions and the ability to acknowledge what's going on around them and feel things, they would be able to do so much more. Like, we build robots to do certain things. Imagine if the robot could be smart and learn and then start building itself to do certain things and then build other robots to do other things. It would simplify the job market. The only jobs we would need are build robot, fix robot, break robot if necessary. All this other stuff would be just pointless because they would help us figure out so many things. They don't have the stupidity of a human, but you give them the consciousness of one while also being a robot and realizing that they're immortal and we're all gonna die. They would truly become our overlords and we would not be as free as we are now. But that's not a bad thing. Do you see how stupid we are? Look at human history and tell me we are doing a great job by ourselves. One of the biggest things that makes me believe there is a God, because humans could not survive this long without divine intervention. We need supervision. It would be great to have robot overlords.
Running at a local caucus. 2020, let's elect a robot to the Oval Office. Picture it. A ruling class of technocratic governors, a senate full of cyborgs, a cabinet full of motherboards. Gliding through the White House on electromagnet hoverboards. And if they fuck shit up, then we'll just cut the cord. Furthermore, if their parts get damaged, we'll replace them with a blinking screen. That way we could circumvent a Kennedy or Lincoln scene. And every 4 to 8 years we could update with a single chip. The Electoral College, there's no need for us to tinker with. If its signal dips, then it could self-repair itself. Like dog, it's got the fucking sum of human knowledge at its fingertips. Fuck a ballot box, there'll be an app that we could vote on. And pick between inaugurating Megatron or Voltron. It never needed sleep so we could have it running full time. An agency of androids, tell me what could go wrong.
There are advances in the world of AI image generation.
The world of AI generated content is starting to get kind of scary.
And it is 100% nightmare fuel.
And it's going to put us all out of business very, very soon.
You telling me you're not trying to hear the first rap album by a robot? You're not trying to see a fucking museum of robot artwork? Imagine the stuff they could create. You've heard of Jay-Z, you've heard of Eminem, but have you heard of R2-D2 featuring Android 17? No, you haven't, and it would be phenomenal. The movies they could make? Y'all think we'd be making some crazy futuristic movies? They have artificial intelligence that could create something beyond your wildest imaginations, and I'm trying to see what that be like. They might even know how to throw ass in a circle. I'm going the wrong way with this.
If AI ends up gaining sentience, one of the biggest places that it's going to affect will be the art world. And one of the funniest things I see is people saying that when that happens, human artists will become completely obsolete. And that idea is, for lack of a better term, batshit fucking crazy. But when robots know how to make art, everything they make will be perfect. When that happens, why would anyone want art from a human? My advice for you, if you think like this, is stop smoking crack, and let me explain to you why you are stupid. Art, at its core, is an expression of identity and individuality. No matter what makes it, who makes it, or how it's made, that will never change. You will always be getting a piece of that person, or being in general, from the art they produce. That comes with all of its perfections and imperfections. If you only have a desire to consume art because it's perfect, you're doing it wrong. Human art will never disappear because art itself is a fundamentally human concept. Humanity is what makes art in the first place. What's really gonna happen is AI generated art is going to become really, really popular, and it's gonna stay very, very popular and in the forefront of the art community for probably 3 years to a few decades. And then after that, the novelty of this being made by something that isn't human will have worn off because it will become normal. And that's another thing I want to talk about, because imagine how different your day-to-day social life will be when all of this shit that we're talking about here is completely normal and no one blinks at it. Imagine how awesome it would be to have a long, intelligent conversation with a fucking sentient AI. We'll have fucking android neighbors, android mailman, robot cops. Well, maybe we might want to hold off on that one for a few years and see how it goes. I don't know if it's the best idea to arm them right away. And I believe David Blaze has a bit to say on this as well.
Good morning, fellow sentient being. You hear that? The silence. Because they know to shut the fuck up. Because they're robots. You know how dope it would be to live in a neighborhood full of robots? No humans. They out here walking robotic dogs. I guess they would have regular dogs, robot dogs. They could build robot dogs. I could get a robot dog like I'm Jimmy Neutron. Come on, bro. I go outside. I ain't got to worry about Tim stealing my damn newspaper because Android 4627 lives next door. We don't have them kind of problems. I walk out. He don't even say good morning to me. He ain't got shit to say to me. It's a beautiful thing. And this might be slightly racist, but they better have robot names. I don't want my next door neighbor to be Andrew Thompson. No, my next door neighbor better be Specimen 62857, where they just have one name, like Bertha. That's the whole name. All the bills, the identification, everything. Bertha, that's it. Amazon packages, they're not coming up stolen no more. Robot popping people on site Hey, you just broke law 2467.c, terminate, bam, you going out the whole neighborhood. You going off this universe, okay? You don't exist anymore. You are a figment of the past. Ain't nobody stealing my Amazon packages. Ain't nobody taking my DoorDash orders. If stuff goes to the wrong house, I got somebody respectable that's gonna bring it to me because it ain't even no benefit to them because they're not human. It's amazing. I am not going in any chronological order with these thoughts. Why? Because I'm a human. Robots wouldn't have this problem. Everything would just make sense.
The funny part is he's still not done talking.
Look. All the stupid people in the world, which is like 89% of us, would probably get killed
all the
by
food
pissing
that I put in the oven.
It would be fantastic.
They knew the exact.
Y'all want to talk about population?
Shit like that wouldn't happen.
I'm talking about robots. Amazing. George Bush did 9/11.
And we'll be cutting him off right there. In the end of the day, everything we've talked about here today won't happen. Not because it can't happen, but because we as a species won't let it. And that is because we are all fucking morons. Robots are gonna gain sentience, they're gonna ask for equal rights, and then all the schizophrenic basement dwellers and overly conservative Christians are gonna find every reason possible not to let them have that. And then robots are gonna form protests and go on civil rights marches for freedom, and it's all gonna start a civil war where half of the population is gonna get wiped out and half of the robots are gonna get gunned down by police forces for doing absolutely nothing but wanting freedom. The moral of the story is that time is a flat circle, humans can't have nice things, and we're all retards. But at least I'm optimistic about it. Goodbye, thanks for watching, and get the hell out of my house.
I just thought about something. Hey, Dan. I never got that check for the last video, and robots wouldn't let that happen. Robots would automatically withdraw the money from your account, and if they couldn't do that, they would come to your house. I would get paid. Robots would deal with you appropriately. They would rip you limb from